Hi, this is a quick guide tutorial to use kdenlive. This is assuming kdenlive is already configured. In this case, I pre-configured to output to NTSC at about 30 frames per second. When you start a project, it's good to add all the clips first. These are basically your multimedia files. So when I click that, I go to the drive. Since I was here earlier, it remembered my selection. So I have my drive and my folder, and I'll go ahead and import all the media files. I'm using Control-click here so I can select any type of file that I want to use. Click open. It takes a little bit of time to import all the files. It will automatically generate the thumbnail. And now we are ready to start on the project. The first thing I want to do is to create a background, a title screen. So I go to project, select add title clip, and this is obviously not what I want to do. So what I'll do is I can change the background color first, and change the color to, say, black. So right there, and then click it to select it. And then the next thing I want to do is to change the text color so that it is kind of like a bright orange color. And we also want to make it not transparent at all. So the alpha channel is going to be 255. Click OK, and then click it again to make sure it is selected. And now we can type the text. The text is currently using this particular font, Deja Vu Sans, and the font size is 60, which is pretty big. But I'll just go ahead and use it. So we'll say Miata for sale, and that's my title. It's not centered. That's okay, because we can always center it using these tools over here. So this is horizontal centering. This is vertical centering. And now we have the title screen pretty much done. Now, the nice thing about this is when you use the title screen, it actually allows animation integrated to the title screen. Unfortunately, the animation is limited only to sizing, changing the size and zooming in. You can also add special effects like blurring, but I believe that does not have it does not let you select the start versus the end, because you can specify blur for one and then specify the radius, and it is blurring something, but it's not. Okay, this is blurring the end, and this is the beginning, and the beginning has no effect whatsoever. We can click OK here, and then do a quick view of what it looks like when we play it. And you can see the blur. There's no blur effect whatsoever. So we can always right click and go back to clip properties and look at the end, and well, the effect did not stick to either one, but that's okay. We'll just click OK here, and then we can drag the title clip to video 3. Now remember, when you specify video, when you want to drag a clip onto the timeline, video 1 is on top of video 2, video 2 is on top of video 3. So whatever you want to appear in the background, you really want to make it as much as possible, push it down on the list. So we can start with video 3 here. When you move the mouse pointer, it automatically changes its shape to different tools. This is a drag tool, so you can basically just drag the video clip to different portions of the timeline. When you go to the edge, it automatically changes to a resizing tool. So now we can change the size or the time duration of the video of the title clip, and you can see from the bottom, which was here, you can see the duration, and you can see how the duration is changing as I drag the mouse. So now we have approximately 6 seconds display the video clip, the title clip. You can use the zoom tool to make it bigger, to kind of elongate or zoom into this timeline. So this way it's easier to make any editing. The yellow part is a composite transition tool, which we don't really need at this point, so we'll go ahead and get rid of it. To get rid of something on the timeline, you just go ahead and select it and then press the delete key and it disappears. The other tool that might be useful in this case for our homework for this particular project is to use the razor tool. The razor tool allows you to create multiple independent clips from one single clip here. So if I were to clip here, at about let's say 1 second, so I have a little bit of time before and a little bit after, like here. Then I have kind of turned this clip into 3 different parts. If I switch back to the selection tool, you can see that I can now, move each individual part separately. But that was not my intention. My intention is really to specify a different transition for each part. So I would click the first one, and now I want to specify a particular effect. If you want to specify effect to this one, you can right click it, and then you can go to add effect, and it doesn't show on the screen here, unfortunately, because it's scrolling out of the area that I'm capturing. Let me see what I can do to show the effect. I believe there's another way to do it. Okay, here we go. So when you go to the effect stack, it shows you the current effect that are already selected. We can go to effect list here, and we can take a look at all the possible effects. So under motion, we have freeze and speed, which is not what we want. Under miscellaneous, we have quite a few effects, and some of these have interesting names, but none of these is what I'm really looking for. So we'll go ahead and get rid of that. What I'm trying to do is to start blurred, and then it brings everything into focus, and then we'll blur again. So that might fall into distort. No, that is not distort. Oh, I was missing it the whole time because it's at the top. It is blur and hide. So we'll go here and go to okay, auto mask, blur image with keyframes, and obscure, hide the region, square blur, variable size square blur, creates a glamorous glow. So we'll go ahead and play with the maybe block blur, and double click it to select it. So now we have a block blur effect applied to the first part of the clip. And here we have a way to specify how we want to blur the image and also the blur factor. So let's go ahead and change the blur factor to 10, and you can see how the image is more blurred. If we go all the way to 15, that's definitely more blurred than before. And we can also add keyframes. The concept of a keyframe is we can control the levels of blurriness at different time of this clip. So right now, we have a blur level of 15 at the beginning of this clip, and we have also the same blur effect at 1.09 seconds, which is the end of this particular section of the title clip. Now, since we want to bring everything into focus over time, we want to change this one to a 0, so it doesn't have any blur effect anymore at that time. And what we can do is now just to play it, and you can see how it brings everything into focus in the first second. And that's good right here. And then we want to do exactly the opposite at the end. We go to effect list again, go to box blur, and this time we also want to add a keyframe. The first keyframe is the beginning of the clip. The next keyframe is the end of the entire clip. So we want to accomplish the opposite of this, of what we started off with. So we'll start with a 0 at the beginning and a 15. Oops. Okay. Okay, let's see. We want to change. Oh, okay. We need to move the timeline back to the beginning. Uh-oh. I think I just deleted the whole clip. Let's undo it. Undo it. Okay, there we go. So now we have the beginning is 0, and we want the end to be 15. And if we can select this part, and let's just go ahead and play it. And you can see how it is blurring into, it's going back to the blur effect. Now you can always experiment with different values. I believe 255 is completely blurred, or 100%. So this is in terms of percentage and not from 0 to 255. If you do select this one, you probably want to go back to the first one and make the beginning as 100%. So this means it's going to be completely blurred to begin with, and it's going to be completely blurred at the end. Let's move our time cursor back to the beginning and play it. So you can see how it brings Miata for Sale into focus, and then blur it completely out of focus at the end of the clip. That's the effect that we want. So this opening is now done. Next, we want to bring in maybe some pictures, but before we do that, maybe we should just go ahead and specify the music track for this entire thing. We have Vader.ogg, which is the Darth Vader theme from Star Wars, and we'll put it as a background music, so it goes to audio 2. And you can see the waveform is actually quite obvious from here, so we can actually see the entire waveform. When I play this, I can hear the music from my headphone, but you probably cannot hear it because it's recording only from my mic, but it's not recording from what I can hear. But that's all right. It's not as important, with this particular exercise. Next, we want to start with some of our pictures. So let's just say that I want to start with a focus of the headlight. So I just drag this still picture to my timeline, and here we have a little bit of overlap, and let's make it overlap maybe just with this portion here. So we are overlapping by, right here is about overlapping by maybe a second or so. So the title clip and the headlight picture they have 1 second of overlap. Now, if I don't specify any type of transition, you can see that one moment it has the title screen, which is starting to blur out, and then the next moment it has the picture, which is a very sharp and undesirable effect. Excuse me. When you want to specify a smooth or a particular type of transition, what you can do is you can go to one of the clips and click transition, and you can see that we don't have any transition here. To add a transition, one way to do it is to go to the clip that you want to create a transition from, and just kind of drag this part here. Okay, and this yellow part is a transition, but right now it's transitioning to the wrong part of the video. It's using dissolve and it's reversing the order. Well, let's go ahead and see what it does. Since this part is kind of automatically done, so you can just move the timeline here, and you can see there's nothing blurred, there's no dissolve effect, and that's because it is applied to the wrong clip, because we want to apply the dissolve between these two clips. Okay, so now you can see that it's doing the dissolve, but in the wrong order. It is dissolving the headlight picture into the background, and that has to do with when you click dissolve, you can see that reverse is turned on, and that's why it's not doing it correctly. You just have to turn it off so it's not reversed, and you can now see that the dissolve is actually applied correctly from the title clip to the picture. So that's good. That's the effect that we want. And then we can kind of move forward here. Let's go ahead and include my video clip here. So this is my video clip, and once I select the video clip, we can actually just go ahead and play the video clip itself. And my video driver is a little bit slow, and that's why it's kind of jaggy right now. All right, it's a walk around of the Miata, and so that's okay. And what we want to do is now to drag it into one of the other tracks. I'll put it onto track 3 for now. Now